So Crash Bandicoot is about to get a whole lot bigger starting next month. In this video, I'll be going through why that is, what is happening and what to expect for the Crash Bandicoot series and what this means for you who is looking for more Crash Bandicoot content. And yes, next month, March 2021 is a period which I think it is a really big month for Crash Bandicoot. We know that this year is the 25th anniversary for our favorite marsupial, and March 2021 is the big kickstart of a resurgence and relevance of Crash Bandicoot, and that is mainly because of these two main things: the official release of the Crash Bandicoot on the Run, aka Crash Mobile, and the Nintendo Switch port / next gen upgrade of the latest game of the series, Crash Bandicoot 4, which is all happening in just next month. Now you might be wondering, why does this all matter? Well, this is everything you need to know about it. Starting off with Crash on the Run. The official release date will be on the 25th of March. It will be a free download game application on mobile, which we all know that it is a much more and extremely easier to access compared to, let's say, a console or a PC. And that will be a brand spanking new era for Crash Bandicoot, mainly because it introduces not only current fans of the franchise to it, but most importantly, newer players and future fans of the series that might not have heard of or even played a Crash game before. You see, we know how much more easily accessible mobile games are, and based on my gameplay testing that I'm fortunately lucky enough to get my hands on due to the early beta that's available in my country, the game truly did not disappoint, mainly because of how closely it resembles the true Crash Bandicoot experience. Not only is the difficulty of the game stayed true to the series we know of, but also the music, the skills, the abilities of Crash Bandicoot all made this game feel really close to the original, even though it is in the format of a temple runner. And this is actually pretty important, as I'm pretty sure as a new free mobile game, the game is definitely going to attract newer players to the franchise, and if they ended up loving the mobile version of the game, it can very well easily convert them to, let's say, to the original games like Crash Bandicoot 4, or even older games like the Insane Trilogy or even Crash Team Racing. It's basically free marketing for the current games if you think about it for these newer people. And I am pretty sure Crash on the Run will boost the name and branding of Crash Bandicoot to a certain extent, and maybe beyond that, as it is really one of the first mainline Crash game to hit the mobile market. Now, of course, I did mention not only is Crash on the Run the main reason for Crash to get bigger next month, but also the newly announced Crash Bandicoot ports, and these are the Nintendo Switch, the PC ports, and of course the next gen updates. But the main impact that I feel really comes from the extension to newer platforms, mainly because, well, not everyone has a new PS5 or a next gen Xbox, which is where the Nintendo Switch and the PC version comes in. Obviously, we know that bringing Crash Bandicoot 4 to these two platforms will introduce more traffic for the game, but what I'm really setting my eyes on is the PC version, mainly due to two big reasons, which I think it is a big game changer. If you watch my previous video, you know how much I expect an online multiplayer function to appear on the PC version, and that is the very first reason to this. I mean, I would like to think that this is why the reason for the PC version is coming out at a much later date, due to the development of the multiplayer. I don't know how these things actually work, so I'm not gonna pretend that I do, but this is just based on my simple-minded opinion, but at the same time it's a pretty confident one at that. So yeah, development of the multiplayer, that is the very first reason. And here comes the second one, which I know is actually going to be a pretty divided opinion, and that is the potential of modding capabilities. Now, I know there's roughly a 50-50 chance that you will either love or hate modding games, due to the nature of how mods will change the original feel of the game, and I am pretty sure that the developers don't really like people tampering with their game. But I'm actually looking on the brighter side of of this, as I really love the modding potential and the community behind it for the PC version. Obviously, I don't expect Crash 4 will have official modding support, very few games actually have that, but I can definitely see and expect some people to mod the game to a certain extent, because I don't expect Crash 4 will have constant updates and features added to the game to keep the game feeling fresh, since Crash Bandicoot 4 is actually a single player game, unlike Crash Team Racing, which is actually a multiplayer game. But hey, Activision did mention that more Crash Bandicoot content will be coming this year, and we're just starting off the new year, so who knows, it is still too early to tell, but the confidence is there, and March is definitely going to kickstart Crash Bandicoot in a stronger step forward. I'm really eager to see how this actually unfolds, and let me know what you think. Do you think that next month will be big for Crash Bandicoot? It will be fun to read and heart your comment as always, and I would love to see each and every one of your opinion. And also, shameless plug, with around $1 per month, you can become a member of the channel and have your name plastered here as a big thanks in each of my videos. You can do so by clicking on the join button below to earn shoutouts and more exclusive perks like this one. And in the meantime, do watch these other videos as well, as I'm sure you enjoyed them just as much as I did in making them. This is the Viperian signing off. Thanks for watching and stay awesome.